Hi everyone. Welcome to KH Recapped. Today we are going to talk about one of the best Korean movies called Alienoid. Alienoid or Alien Plus Human Part 1, is a 2022 South Korean science fantasy action film directed by Choi Dong-hoon, starring Ryu Jun-yeol, Kim Woo-bin, and Kim Tae-ri. The film depicts an extraordinary story that unfolds as the gates of time open between late Goryeo and the present in 2022, when aliens appear. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe, like and share this video with your friends and family. So let's get right in. You might not enjoy the Korean sci-fi genre hybrid Alienoid if you're focused on its ungainly and potentially confusing plot, which involves time-traveling robots, aliens, and Taoist wizards. They chase after each other and a magical what's-it-called the Divine Blade. Thankfully, the plot isn't really the thing in Alienoid, a sugar rush of an action fantasy that ultimately dead ends with a cliffhanger ending and some canned revelations about who's who. Before then, Alienoid flies so fast from one twist to the next that it's pretty easy to follow along its many tentatively related protagonists, including bounty-hunting shamans, shape-shifting cat people, and a mysterious young woman with a gun. The sheer too-muchness of Alienoid could have easily been wearying, given its many tangents and supporting characters. Thankfully, writer-slash-director Choi Dong-hoon confirms his hitmaker reputation by balancing overinflated set pieces with disarming screwball comedy and delightful character-actor performances. And while bright costumes, shifting timelines, and pumped-up special effects may seem to be the most important parts of Alienoid, you're really there to watch Choi, Association, Wuchi, the Demon Slayer, keep as many plates airborne as he can. One of the main charms of Alienoid is how hard Choi works to introduce familiar, i.e., American, science fiction tropes to an ostentatiously Korean narrative. This at least partly explains why there's a 14th century period adventure at the heart of a time-hopping The Terminator-style chase, featuring callous space aliens who stuff the souls of their prisoners into unwitting human bodies. The plot of the movie takes place in 3 timelines as explained below. The timelines will be explained linearly instead of the interwoven pattern in the film. Time, space, and logic are meaningless to these aliens, whose species, individual names, and general qualities remain largely undefined. All you need to know is that, in the year 2022, the smoldering and stoic alien guard, Kim Woo-bin, and his flying robot companion Thunder, voiced by Kim Dae-myung, must stop an evil alien called the Collector before he can free his fellow alien prisoners from their human bodies. Guard and Thunder are joined by their plucky human wardeen, Choi Uri, who occasionally forces her 2 surrogate dads to explain themselves and their drama stakes. Meanwhile, in the year 1391, Muruk, Ryu Jun-yeol, a hapless bounty-hunting Dosa magician, searches for the Divine Blade, which is naturally of extraterrestrial origins. Muruk travels the countryside with a pair of mystical cat people, Shin Young-joon and Lee Si-hoon, who live in his enchanted fan. They're joined by a number of competing seekers, particularly the evil masked shaman Hajang, Kim Ui-sung, and his implacable alien accomplice, Ji Gun-woo, as well as the above-mentioned lady with a gun, Kim Tae-ri, and a hapless buddy magician duo of Madam Black and Mr. Blue, Yum Yoonga and Jo Woo-jin. Individually, these characters don't matter, but together, as a migraine-inducing conspiracy, they're pretty irresistible. Timeline 1, 1380 AD. The film opens with the narrator explaining that aliens have been locking up their criminals for a long time inside human bodies and humans were unaware of this. In this timeline, monk warriors try to kill an alien and its host human woman to no avail. Suddenly a portal opens and a jeep arrives. A flying robot takes form from the jeep and another humanoid robot emerges from the vehicle, named Thunder and Guard respectively. Guard battles the alien, who has now returned to its human host body and is successfully able to extract the alien from its host. The woman, before succumbing to her battle injuries, asks Guard to take care of her baby, but Guard informs her they can't interfere in human affairs. Guard and Thunder both then take their human forms and leave this timeline using the crystal knife, which is the source of their powers and which also helps them see through time and space to help them catch escaped aliens. Timeline 2, 2012 AD. Guard and Thunder return to their intended timeline, where the narrator explains that aliens keep escaping their human hosts across time and space, and it was Guard's and Thunder's jobs to track, extract, and recontain them. Unbeknownst to Guard though, Thunder secretly took the dead woman's baby and brought it to this timeline. Guard reluctantly agrees to keep her and they proceed to make a mission report. Here it is revealed that the next alien prisoners convoy is set to arrive in 10 years and 8 months, so they have to stay on Earth until at least then. 10 years pass. It is 2022 now. The baby, Yin, is grown up and Guard, in his human form, pretends to be her father. He has kept the existence of Thunder and his other life a secret from her, though Yin is highly suspicious of this. Thunder informs Guard that the next prisoner convoy will finally be arriving within 18 hours at a hospital and will require 107 human hosts. Yin hears this and in the absence of Guard attempts to communicate with Thunder, where he finally appears before her and explains to her that he and Guard came from a faraway planet to carry out their duties here. Upon her insistence he informs her that she was brought from 646 years ago into the present. The next day, Yin heads to the hospital to record proof of the alien transference. A spaceship arrives and implant the alien prisoners inside the humans, but Yin narrowly escapes after recording the entire scenario. Guard and Thunder bring her back home where they promise to explain her everything. Thunder tells her that they've been locking up their planet's prisoners in humans for ages, and by doing so they get trapped inside the bodies until the human dies and destroys the alien too. He also tells her that the aliens can leave their human prisons and take their true form for about 5 minutes, since Earth's atmosphere is too unsuitable for the aliens to stay out any longer. Such aliens are called Paros, and in case they awaken, it was Guard and Thunder's jobs to contain them before anyone else got hurt. The next day, Thunder receives an emergency message stating that a spaceship of armed and escaped alien prisoner is heading for Earth, and that the urgent recovery of a trapped prisoner is required. The person they have to catch is Detective Moon Dosiak, who was at the hospital during the alien transference. Guard, Thunder, and Yin rush to catch Detective Dosiak before the aliens can get to him. Moon Dosiak feels something is wrong and tries to escape, but the alien from the ship, nicknamed Redo, catches up to him and explains that the leader of the rebel aliens, the controller, has been locked inside him and that he must free him from Dosiak's body. Guard catches up to them and battles Redo, where he manages to steal the crystal knife from Guard and escapes in his ship to catch Dosiak. Thunder informs Guard that the Paro inside Dosiak is the leader of the rebellion against imprisonment in humans and they must stop his awakening. Redo finally catches up to Deseok and despite Guard's efforts to stop him, manages to awaken the controller, by plunging the crystal knife in Deseok's body. Meanwhile, Redo, in his battle with Guard, fatally injures him to the point where Thunder has to emergency recharge Guard and manages to bring his power levels back up temporarily. Once awakened, the controller takes his true form and heads to his spaceship, with Thunder on his tail. Once inside, Thunder informs Guard that the controller plans to unleash Hava, mysterious spheres containing their home planet's atmosphere on Earth, which will result in Earth's atmosphere becoming perfectly breathable to the aliens and hence they wouldn't require human bodies to survive. Thus all prisoners could be awakened and unleashed at once and the humans would die due to the new toxic atmosphere. Guard rushes to stop the controller and manages to reverse the Hava release and seal it back safely, but not before 2 doses of Hava are released. Despite the destruction and chaos the Hava causes, Thunder and Yin manage to escape safely, while Guard flies the Hava spaceship back to their house to lure the aliens in there. In the Hava-infested zone, the controller meets up with 2 more aliens and the 3 hijack an ambulance to get their Hava spaceship back. Once home, Guard reveals to Yin that it was he who killed her mother in the past to extract the alien out of her, and the only reason he agreed to raise her was so he could blend among the humans without notice. He then orders Thunder to take her away to safety from the impending fight. The 3 aliens arrive at Guard and Thunder's home where they overpower Guard, but Thunder arrives just in time on Yin's requests to return and help her father. Despite their collective efforts though, they realize they cannot stop them. Thus Guard decides to switch times in order to keep the aliens away from the Hava spaceship and opens up a portal to the past, where he, Thunder and Yin crash land with the 3 aliens close in tow. Timeline 3, 1381 AD. A party of 4 humans are on a hilltop when they see a portal open and a strange carriage fall from the sky. The magistrate, dual mages of Mount Samguk, and Dog Turd. They witness this and ask their servant boy to stay there and leave to see the crash for themselves. When they crash, Guard asks Thunder to take them back and leave the aliens in this timeline, but Thunder seems to be fatally wounded and is unable to help. The Collector finds them and battles Guard, almost killing him, before Yin shoots and fatally wounds Dosiak, the Collector's host. While he tries to grab Yin, he accidentally pushes her and Thunder off a cliff into the river below. Yin loses the crystal knife while Thunder converts into his ship form and asks her to find him again so they can fix this. His host fatally injured, the Collector becomes desperate for a new human body and goes off to find one. Meanwhile, Yin washes ashore and is found by the servant boy who helps her and tells her his name is Muruk. They camp together, but Muruk sets out to investigate whether the area is safe or not. He stumbles upon the Collector nearby, who transfers himself into Muruk's body. Muruk doesn't remember this or any event after. 10 years pass. It is 1391 now. Muruk has grown into a young magic learner who possesses a magic fan with his 2 loyal companions, Right Paw and Left Paw. He is a bounty hunter who one day gets a bounty to find a certain heavenly knife. He takes on the bounty and decides to go talk to Dog Turd, who tells him that one day a strange knife washed up in one of the fisherman's nets with mystical properties. It was supposedly invulnerable. He then tells him that knife was bought by the magistrate a long time ago. Miruk finds the magistrate but realizes another strange man is after the knife too. In the ensuing battle, Dog Turd takes the knife and runs away while the strange man fatally wounds the magistrate and goes off in pursuit of Dog Turd himself. Miruk chases the man too but finds himself simply outmatched. When he comes to near the riverbank, he sees a weird-looking glowing rock jutting out of the water. It is in fact thunder in his ship form, probably lying dormant without his power source, the knife. Miruk also discovers a strange veiled woman near the ship who flees immediately. Meanwhile, the dual mages of Mount Samguk are investigating the scene where the magistrate was murdered and the knife was stolen. They decide to go to the monk guru at Milban Temple for further counsel. Miruk gathers from the locals the address where the strange man lived and goes there to investigate. There he sees pictures of spaceships and aliens and thunder. He also sees a bounty notice ordering the search for the knife, and the notice is stamped by the Milban Temple. At the temple, the dual mages inform the guru that Dog Turd has stolen the knife and enlist the help of the Milban Temple to find the knife together. Miruk on his search for the knife follows Dog Turd to a wedding where he meets a young woman called Lee Chen, wielding a gun and wearing a watch. She is young grown up 10 years later. She is also looking for the knife, possibly to revive Thunder and get back to her timeline. Before she could steal the knife, the dual mages arrive and hypnotize the owner of the storehouse to bring them the knife. Lee Chen rushes to fight them and successfully manages to steal the knife from them. In an effort to take back the knife, both the mages get themselves cut on the blade, allowing Lee Chen to escape, but she is knocked out by the monk guru, who takes the knife for himself, and takes an unconscious Lee Chen prisoner. When Lee Chen wakes up, the monk guru comes to meet her, who reveals he is in fact one of the aliens who came into this timeline along with her and tells her he only needs to find the ship now in order to get back. It is later shown the strange man and the monk guru, both being aliens, are waiting to find their leader, the controller, to finally try to get back. They plan on doing so by locating the last human who saw them the day they came in this timeline, Dog Turd, since the magistrate was struck by the knife and wasn't awakened and the dual mages were cut by the blade but they weren't awoken too. The monk guru then receives a report that the ship was confirmed to have resurfaced. Having both the knife and the ship now, the aliens only need their leader to move ahead with their plan to get back. Since the mages and Lee Chen served no use to him now, the monk guru orders that poisoned food be served to them. Lee Chen apparently dies and Miruk decides to steal the knife for his bounty. He then realizes the food was poisoned and rushes some of the mages' antidote to Lee Chen, who he saves in time, but not before being seriously wounded by the monk guru himself. Lee Chen is sealed in a coffin which she escapes from, and Miruk is dumped in the river, where he resurrects miraculously, owing partially to his magic abilities and partially to the controller's powers. Meanwhile, the dual mages investigate the monk guru's chambers to find out why he wanted them dead. There they find his destroyed records and realize he's been looking for the fourth human who saw the portal. Now, having been double-crossed by the monk guru, the mages join forces with Lee Chen and Miruk, and together the four of them battle the two aliens. During the battle, Lee Chen is able to take the knife and lure one of the aliens away while the other alien is killed by forcing him out of his human host for more than 5 minutes. Lee Chen manages to escape her pursuer alien, while in the end of the film it is revealed to the others that Miruk was the host of the controller all along. In June 2022, while promoting Alienoid, Choi Dong-hoon hinted while Part 1 follows characters in the present-day era who go back in time to the Goryeo Kingdom, Part 2 will center on ancient Taoists traveling through time and space in an effort to obtain the Divine Sword. The second installment is scheduled for release in 2023. Choi skillfully keeps viewers' attention focused on his characters and their defining quirks. Miruk and Guard are both stubborn control freaks, so their stories are indirectly bound together by a mutual need to either realize their potential or accept help from other, lesser people, like Een or that indomitable gunwoman. There are a lot of painstaking references and /or influences from American science fiction, including Isaac Asimov's robot stories and DC Comics' Booster Gold comics. Skeets fans will love Thunder, but none of them are as compelling as Choi's messy protagonists, who sometimes literally vault over each other in order to get to the next plot point. To be fair, more than a few key scenes are either too goofy or conceptually overburdened. But did I mention the shape-shifting cat people? So much of Alienoid operates on that kind of sensory overloading illogic, the kind that's blessedly grounded by action choreography, rhythmic pacing, and, best of all, human gestures and performances. Some cast members exhibit more range than others, but Choi generally plays to his actors' strengths, to the point where even minor characters seem capable of stealing whatever scene they're in. I was especially won over by Madam Black and Mr. Blue's sweaty magic act, which has less to do with skillful teamwork and is more about improbable poise and constant movement. Even Kim Woo-bin does more with pursed lips and starch-stiff posture than most leading men get to do in an entire MCU phase. Alienoid is an elaborate, and expensive, magic trick, and its main appeal is how hard it hustles you into keeping up with its creator's energetic flailing. This is the kind of would-be blockbuster that was clearly designed to appeal to as many different kinds of viewers as possible, so of course there's too much of everything. But the amazing thing is, as dorky and overstuffed as the plot tends to be, Alienoid is also often fast enough to keep pressing forward. What a rush, what a headache. Finally, thank you so much for watching.